Good morning, people. Another early morning. It is currently, you can see it on there, 2:31. Let me make sure this thing stays looking at me. Currently 2:31 a.m. Back on our way to work. Early morning. Nobody's out right now. There's one car up here, which I'm going to take a guess that around 2:30 a.m. he's probably going home about now. But, it is quite nice sometimes. I do enjoy my morning drives to work, just kind of with no one on the road. It is, it does seem to be relaxing. But then I kind of get in this thought loop of sometimes of you're driving to work and it's nice, but then you start thinking, well, I'm still going to somewhere that I hate, so I could be driving to a destination that I actually want to go to and that I will enjoy. And I've had that same feeling. I would have that same feeling of, the relaxing drive or whatever. But I'm going, I'm going somewhere. I'm going on a vacation. I'm going on a trip or whatever. So it's a lot more enjoyable. And these little thoughts are kind of things that can really sit in that motivational driving force to get you onto that loop of, okay, I need to figure something out, because even though you enjoy your little morning drive, sometimes that little thing that you don't mind, that doesn't seem that bad, can be a negative thing, because you've got this drive that you somewhat enjoy, but it's acting as a small distraction to the larger picture, because you think, oh, it's not that bad, work's not that bad, working the 9 to 5 is not that bad because I enjoy my drive to work. But in reality, you might just enjoy driving, in which you could be, like I said, driving somewhere that is an even better area, and you can use these emotions you get when you are driving somewhere that you want to go or whatever, or whether it's just a late night drive or whatever. You can use these emotions of when you're driving to work to remind yourself you could be doing that instead if you had just tried harder and were in a better situation. So there's always some sort of little mind trickery that can be done at all times. And just little simple thoughts like that. A lot of people, they're sitting around and driving on the way to work, driving home, and no one's just sitting in their mind, kind of letting it run, thinking, talking to themselves, letting out whatever thoughts kind of come to their mind. They go, some people are, I talk to myself and whatever, and it's like, oh, look at the bush or whatever, fucking stupid shit, in which I'm not saying don't enjoy nature and stuff like that, but, nobody has really complex, in-depth thoughts about, what's going on in their life and what's happening around them. It's just all kind of, scroll on my phone, listen to music at the loudest volume the whole way home, and just kind of turn your brain off and waste your time. And it's not to go to say that you shouldn't ever be listening to music or doing whatever. It's not to say that you always shouldn't be listening to music or doing these things at certain times or whatever, but it just more goes to the fact that people are always trying to turn their mind off and always trying to escape this reality they hate. And, you know, if you decide that you finally want to better yourself, you're still, you know, it's still somewhat of the same situation, because you're doing something that you hate every day. You're living in this dreaded loop that you hate. And, you know, even if you go and you use drugs to cope, and, you know, you're blasting loud music all the time to cope, you're watching entertaining videos all the time to cope, you're doing whatever you can to just, you know, you're smoking all the time to cope, and you're doing whatever you can to turn off your mind, that way you can escape your situation. You know, instead of doing that, you could be working harder, cleaning more, waking up early. You know, you could be doing all these other benefiting things, and you're still escaping your situation. You know, if you really do put in the work, and you really do focus on something, you know, instead of your mind, your mind is now turning on instead of turning off, but you're still getting that feeling of you're not as focused on the negative things in your situation, because you're focusing on, you know, the inputs of what will make that situation better. So just the feeling of it in general is better. Now, you know, people like to sit around and relax and do nothing, but, you know, it leads to the same outcome every time. It's just like how, and, you know, people go out and they drink and they black out, and then the next morning they say they'll never do it again, and then they go out and do it again the next day or the next week or whatever. And it's like, well, last week you just said you were done drinking forever because how miserable it was, and now you're going to drink again, you know, where you got drugged, and now you're going to do it again and to repeat the same, you know, the same situation. And anytime you get this kind of feeling of, you know, maybe it's not that bad, it just sends you back to that loop, and, you know, you're in this, you know, cycle that you can't get out of. You know, instead, if you were to just constantly remind yourself, it is that bad, it is that bad, it is that bad, you know, and people don't want to do that because that's just going to make their life feel 10 times more miserable. You know, that's like, why would you want to sit around and constantly tell yourself that everything is as shitty as it actually seems, and everything in life really does suck that much? But if you're not, you know, if you're not constantly telling yourself that life really does suck that much, then all you're going to do is just, oh, maybe it's not that bad, I'll just do it again another day and I'll try again tomorrow. You know, maybe it's not that bad, I'll just do it again today and try again tomorrow. And you're going to have days where you're just fucking tired and don't want to get up and really don't want to do anything for fucking whatever. But it sometimes that motivational factor is not going to work, you know, and that's where this discipline kind of comes in, where every single time you did tell yourself that it really was that bad and you still did it, now on this time where you're at your very worst, lowest days, where you fucking can't get your brain to work for shit, you're still falling at the base level of your systems. You know, you're still, your worst day is now becoming the average person's best day. So no matter what, there's no point in continuing this cycle that you're in of just, it's not that bad, maybe I'll try again tomorrow, you know, or trying to find every little thing to distract your mind and take your mind out of it, you know. And it can seem very like a double standard, because, you know, you should see kind of the enjoyment and beauty and everything, but at the same time, you need to see the misery in your situation, because that is the only thing that's actually going to drive you out of your situation and finally get you to fucking be like, you know what, fuck this, I'm finally done with it all. Because it's just this vicious cycle that you are stuck in, and over and over and over, and you're just crippling into more and more misery, you know, no matter what you do. You know, you're still this person that just can't, you know, that they can't become who they want to be, because you're not changing, you know, into that person that you need to be in order to become who, you know, who you want to be. You can't continue to have these same bad habits. You know, you can't continue waking up late every day. You can't continue eating like shit every day. You can't continue fucking jerking off every goddamn day. You know, it's you're doing these same things, and you're expecting that this person is able to accept the gifts and the benefits of your multimillionaire or whatever successful self, whatever the definition of success is for you. You know, you think that the person that does all these bad habits is able to accept that, but they really can't. It does not work like that. And, you know, I was thinking about it, and, you know, it's kind of ironic because a lot of guys, and this might be you out there, well, you know, they'll be walking around with their buddies or whatever, and they'll see some chick walking around, and they'll talk about, oh, you know, she's a 4 or whatever, she's ugly, you know, I want to hit that, or whatever the fuck it is. But that same person, those same dudes that were saying, oh yeah, I would never go for that 3, I would never go for that 4, are gonna go home and they're gonna go for their motherfucking hand instead. You're gonna go and fucking beat your dick and do it yourself, instead of at least having fucking somebody else do it for you. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you get this thought into your head that all you're doing is causing a cycle of despair over and over and over, over and over, and then the next morning you wake up, you're not happy with it, but you feel a little bit better because it was in the past now, and you're like, you know, oh, it's okay, I won't do it again. The time comes, you're fucking horny, you're bored, whatever the fuck it is, boom, same thing again. Why is it that you guys can't just get it into your head that you can't accept the gifts you want unless you change who you are? You have to stack all these puzzle pieces together to make this big puzzle. You don't ever get the full picture if you're, oh, I'll just leave some of these pieces out, and I'll leave this one out, and I'll leave that one out, and I'll expect that I'm going to become who I want to become just, you know, with leaving all these fucking other puzzle pieces out. It doesn't make sense. You have to actually get it into your head. And this is where it comes back to the, you know, people infinitely trying to numb themselves and trying to escape their reality and escape their situation by doing these vices. You know, if you're just in this constant cycle of vice after vice after vice and not getting anywhere, your brain is not progressing. Your brain is not growing. You're not developing your mind. You're not causing this thing called neurogenesis to happen. And what happens? You fall back. You fall back. You fall back. It gets worse and worse and worse. Next thing you know, you're in a fucking worse position than you were in the beginning. As you progress, as you think more, as you explore the deep thoughts in your mind, as crazy as they might make you feel, as you get through them, as they start to make your situation worse and they start to make you hurt more, eventually it's going to start to creep in, and you're going to start to realize the only person that can fix this is myself. Nobody's coming to save me. No matter how long I put this off, it's not going to fix it. The only thing I can do is start now so that I don't have to deal with it later. Not fucking run away from it right now, that way I can deal with it later. Deal with it now, don't deal with it later. Because all it's going to do is compound. Everything compounds, whether that's positive or negative. So you keep on doing these negative actions and habits, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. you rock on these better habits, these good habits, life just gets better and better and better. So you got to get it in your mind that you need to fucking put the phone down, take the headphones out, fucking put the joint down, whatever it is, and figure your shit out, and there's gonna be people, weed has its benefits and all this other stuff, and I get it might have medicinal benefits and stuff like that, but you are not currently at the level it takes to be somebody that is allowed to smoke that joint. You're fucking, say you get all the way, you make it all the way, you're successful. Go enjoy yourself, do whatever the fuck you want, figure your shit out now. But right now is not the time. You need every single last mental capacity that you have in order to keep on pushing through harder and harder and harder, in order to never stop fighting to reach that end goal. Because if you don't reach that end goal, what's going to happen? You're going to be sitting there at the end of your life wondering, what the fuck happened with my life? Where did I go wrong? The same question you'll be asking your whole life. Where did I go wrong? And instead of looking at yourself and answering that question, or even just ignoring the question of where did I go wrong and saying, okay, well, even if I don't know where I went wrong, at least let's try and fix this. You just ask yourself the same question over and over. There's no logic behind it. You guys are sitting here like robots walking around with no logic. And if you actually want to finally get out, finally escape this mental trap that you were stuck in, you need to turn your brain on. You need to unplug that plug and actually start doing things. Actually start stacking these wins. You can't make it out unless you understand these basic core principles. Start feeling better about yourself. Clean yourself up more. Start learning new things. Explore new business ideas. Create some sort of life plan. It's really not that hard. It's just about as hard as fucking figuring your life out and becoming successful. Working a 9-to-5 job your whole life. Slaving away, doing something you hate. Not ever having energy because you're always breathing something toxic or, whatever the hell it is. Why waste your time? Why put yourself through it? Why not put in your maximum effort that you have right now and push past that? That way you can actually make something of yourself. That way you can actually leave that 9-to-5. That way you can actually take care of your family. There's no reason to keep on going down that path of it's not that bad, because it's not that bad. It doesn't lead you anywhere good. And when it comes to, there's always going to be times where it comes to critical thinking where you do need to think, this situation isn't that bad, to think of, to work your way out of the situation. But as far as when you are not in a good life position, if you remind yourself that everything is fucked up, then you can fix it and readapt your mental framework to your new situation. But for now, all you can do is keep on telling yourself that no matter what, you're not going to stop. And if you make that promise to yourself, by the end of it, you're going to feel unstoppable. You're going to feel like nobody can stop me because I made a promise to myself and I kept it. And you're not going to hate yourself anymore because you stopped doing all these things that you said you would stop a million times, and you finally stopped them. You finally stopped lying to yourself. You finally stopped lying to other people. You finally prove all them other motherfuckers wrong, that you were just some lazy piece of shit. You gotta do something about it, man. That's all I can say.